even smells old, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just got a $2 million grant from the National Science Foundation to redo the exteriors, knock all the dents out, and paint it and everything, and all the domes and all the towers. So this is kind of the first steps of renovating. Now I need a volunteer. Do you want to be a volunteer and help me push a button?
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Do it. You can do it.
Can you just push that button and let it go? Just so you see how the shutter opens here at the 100-inch dome. This is the original control panel. There's a great shot of Albert Einstein standing right here, leaning with his elbow on this control panel in 1931. All the buttons, I believe they still probably work today, although we don't use it now. We control the telescope with a modern desktop computer. The clock back there, the grandfather's clock you see, that's the original 1917 clock that was used in this observatory to do the calculation for pointing the telescope. And it's a very special clock. Unlike your watch or your clock at home that tells 24-hour a day time, solar mean time, this clock tells star time. And instead of 24 hours, star time is 23 hours, 56 minutes, 18.4 seconds a day. It's 4 minutes less than solar time. Because every day the stars rise 4 minutes earlier above the horizon because of the way the Earth revolves around the sun. So that's got a special gear in it to do that. And that's the original grandfather's clock from 1917. Now I think I need that young lady to do another experiment for me. You want to push another button?
Come on,
Okay.
do it.
What I want everybody to do is
You gotta push buttons, pardon me.
and I want you to lean kind of against here and kind of look at the telescope. Okay, so come on over this way. Megan is here? Megan is going to really wow you guys now. As soon as she takes that picture. Okay. Come back a little bit. Okay, Megan, push this button. And look at the telescope. Let me see if I can get it moving. Okay, I'm starting to rotate. What's moving, guys? This is moving, right? Because I'm going right by you, right?
We're moving.
You're moving? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure we're
No,
moving.
we're
Stationary.
No, we are moving. We're the ones moving.
Everything's moving.
You guys are moving.
Really?
I'm standing still.
I would have bet money on that.
Well, even Einstein didn't figure it out when he was here. That telescope, all that steel is sitting on concrete, several thousand tons of concrete that's embedded into the granite of Mount Wilson that cannot be rotating. You're on a 500-ton rotating dome right now, driven by a 7-horsepower motor. And you did this, Megan. You got us moving. Takes about 7 minutes to go around one time, and it can go left, right, left, doesn't matter, go either way. What happens here is the light comes down the tube of the telescope and hits the big mirror down at the bottom, bounces up, hits that mirror that you can see shining up there near the top. In fact, why do I have a laser pointer if I'm not going to use it? That mirror up there. And then the light comes down, hits a third mirror, and it bounces out right here to where the focus point is. And nowadays, the astronomers use special instruments electronic instruments that are hooked up there to a fiber optic cable, and that's all piped down to a control room where they sit down there and they just download all the material onto their laptop computers. All the data just flows onto the laptop. It's not like the old days. Now they sit down there and they listen to music and drink coffee all night and raise hell. In the old days,
Yeah.
oh,
Where do I sign up?
they're not real men. They're not real men.
I'll take it.
In the old days, let's say the focus point was up there. What the astronomer would have to do, and it was usually Edwin Hubble's assistant, and we're going to talk more about him when we go to the 60s. You see this platform behind us? This platform rides on these rails here, up to the top. So he would get on this platform, Milton Humison would, and he would ride up to the top of the telescope, and he'd get to his focus point up there, and he had a glass, he had a plate holder with a slider on it. He would open it up to start exposing the photographic plate for the object that he was trying to photograph. And he had a little eyepiece with the crosshairs because he had to keep a star exactly on that crosshairs. And when the telescope would move a little bit because of inaccuracies, he had to make adjustments so it didn't smear his photograph. So that dome shutter there would be opened in February, let's say, when it's 15 to 20 degrees outside at Mount Wilson, 20 mile an hour breeze blowing in there. He would be on this platform up there, guiding the telescope all night long, sometimes on an object. Now the telescope would move, and the dome would have to be rotated, and he'd have to be careful that the platform didn't hit the telescope. So he had to do all this while he was guiding at the eyepiece. No bathroom breaks.
How do you forget it?
Freezing to death. We actually have an old tape of him in 1925 with a fedora hat on and a big old raccoon coat, and he's sitting up there at the eyepiece and he's just like almost cursing, you know. That's how they did it in the old days. That's when astronomers were real men.
That's love. I'll stay up there.
That's love.
And isn't he the one who used to go down to the track during the day?
Exactly. Milton Humison, who was Edwin Hubble's assistant, was he liked the ponies. He used to run down to Santa Anita and bet on the ponies. You know, he also had during Prohibition, he had a whiskey still behind the 100-inch dome. It's a well-known fact, and he called his hooch. He called it Panther juice.
Nice.
So all the astronomers at Mount Wilson could get pretty well loaded.
Panther juice.
The other interesting thing about Humison was he didn't start out as an astronomer. He only had about a 6th or 8th grade education in the Pasadena School District. He started out at Mount Wilson as a mule driver. He was bringing up parts for the 60-inch telescope on the backs of mules. But he was really a very smart guy, and the founder of this observatory realized that he could help out, and he promoted him to janitor first. And then when Hubble came here in 1919, he told Hubble, use this guy. It turned out that this guy knew more about this telescope than Edwin Hubble did, and did most of the data collection and the dirty work. When he retired from this observatory in 1953, a guy who was a mule skinner with about a 6th grade education was given an honorary doctorate degree.
Awesome.
He was one of the real heroes of Mount Wilson, one of the true success stories. And I told you Hubble was a real hard guy to get along with. He was hated by most of all the astronomers who worked here. The only guy Hubble gave full credit to was Milton Humison. On every one of his great papers on the expansion of the universe, it was either done by Hubble Humison or Humison Hubble. He gave him full credit.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. So there's Hubble's chair right there, coming around. And Megan, you need to stop it when I tell you. I'm going to tell you to push another button, okay? We're going to play Astronomy Wheel of Fortune here. Because there's a certain place we want to try to stop, and we're going to see how good you are, okay?
Oh. It's like a
The
test?
pressure is on.
You're good at tests, aren't you, Megan?
Now, when I tell you, I want you to press this middle button, and hold it, okay? And I'm gonna say, on your mark, get set, and go. And when I say go, you push the button, okay? Hold.
Okay, get ready.
On your mark. We're gonna try to line this up with this. Get set.
Look where you're gonna push.
Middle button. And go.
Hold it.
If this lines up with this, you did a great job. Look at that.
Woo!
Whoa!
You did it!
How'd you do that?
Now, are you going to shut the big door for us?
Remember how you did it?
Come on.
Is it over here?
The garage door.
Oh, yeah, see.
Right over here.
Well, the same inspiration.
Let it go. Now the big door is closed. It was actually the rotation of the Earth. It changed the rotation of the Earth. Amazing. Now, this telescope, it's like a working museum in here. This telescope is not idle. It didn't stop doing science after Edwin Hubble died or went to Palomar. It's still doing science today. They look for planets around other stars with this telescope by seeing the wobble of the star. You can't actually see the planet with a telescope this small, but you can see the wobble of the star as the planet pulls on it. JPL at the later part of this year is going to contract with Mount Wilson for a multi-year project on this telescope, but it's a very weird project. They're going to use this telescope only in the daytime. And what they're going to do with it is they're going to point this telescope at their interplanetary satellites, like the satellite going to Pluto, Cassini went to Saturn, satellites like that. And they're going to communicate with those satellites optically, an optical link through this telescope.
Awesome.
So it's going to be really a part of our solar system exploration.
Wow.
I think that's going to be pretty cool.
It's way cool.
Yeah. Who would have ever thunk you'd use it in the daytime? But we are. So, with that, if there's... Oh, one last thing. Come over here, and then we're going to go down. Right over here on the telescope. Well, this ring here would fit right there where I showed you the laser pointer. And this is a pretty historic piece of equipment in itself. This rectangular device here is a glass plate holder. You would open this up to expose the film, the plate, the glass plate, to take a picture of something deep in the universe. And I remember I told you that you had to guide with this crosshair eyepiece. Well, this is the little eyepiece right here. So you imagine, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're just staring in there, and this thing is so small, you just go like this, poke your eye. Oh man, this is what they would have to do. This was actually used by Hubble and Humason to discover the expanding universe. This is a pretty famous piece of history right here. You want to touch it? Go right ahead. It's going to eventually go into our museum. All the original drawings for this telescope, the blueprints, are in this cabinet here. If anything were to break or we had to repair anything, we just go to get the blueprints out from 1917. There's copies. There are. We have the originals actually. They're on vellum. And they're all done in ink. They didn't do it in pencil, they did it before CAD. Yeah, then they're masterpieces of art. God, these guys are super draftsmen. Okay, what we're going to do is go back down this way.